Okay, folks, here's the deal.
I'm at the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
This is gonna be a special
One of the most intense trails.
This is the operating station.
That's a bear.
Wow, do I really look like a guy with a plan?
The traveler has
I just do things.
This is a huge, beastly, bulging man. Plates were from Kansas.
That's right, friends. And I never said the bulges were in the right places. Hey, folks, I'm Mike. Ooh, I think I'm a little hot tonight. Let's back that off a little bit. Hey, folks, I'm Mike, Kilo Echo Zero, Victor, India, Mike. This is the Travelin Ham. And this is the friendly POTA Elmer live stream. Something I'm trying to get going here on a weekly basis. And we're kicking off Taco Tuesday. A great night of ham radio, new ham radio content coming your way, starting right here with this live stream. We're going to lead right up to the Tuesday night premiere group. We got videos tonight. Let's see. First one's going to be, you can see it down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. I got Jeff's thumbnail right there, ready to go. That's we got a live feed right to his video. So if we see that change and go into his countdown, we need to shut it down. But we're going to lead up right to his premiere that starts at 23:10 UTC here in a little over an hour. So he's got a POTA down on the beach. He's doing it today. And then we're going to Carlos Life at Terminal Velocity. He's got an 11 POTA row video that he's going to be sharing. That's something I'd like to see more of, is POTA rove videos. You know, I think one thing that POTA, you know, as great as it is, one thing I think POTA has kind of jacked up is the rewards for the roves. And you know, there's only really one or two, maybe three awards that are gettable for most people. I mean, for most people, getting 5 or 10 parks is about the max, unless you're one of the lucky ones that lives in a real POTA dense area, lots of trails, lots of exfers, all that stuff. I'd like to see videos of some of these guys that are getting 30, 35, 40 parks in a row. That would be a pretty good video. If you're someone that does that, let's see that. I want to see that and see how that goes. That would be pretty interesting. Because I've done 5 and 7. I met with some Texas boys down in the Port Arthur area. We did 10, but quite a few of those are really close together, only 5, 10, 15 minutes apart. And we could get through those pretty quick. Man, I can't imagine doing too many more than those, and they're exhausting at the same time. But that's Carlos's video, and then Tim is going to follow up Grayman POTA with some technical IT security video that's up here for me. So I won't attempt to comment on that, but he'll be leading up right to Ham Radio Clubhouse at midnight UTC, and who knows what those guys will be talking about. Those guys are always having a ton of fun on that stream. That is a fun one to check out. So starting right here, you got a great night of new ham radio content starting right here on the friendly POTA Elmer live stream. Maybe calling it the POTA Elmer Hour. Would that be good? Friendly POTA Elmer, or the POTA. I think I like POTA Elmer Hour. Might change that. We'll see how that goes. I like the friendly bit because I just really want to drive it home that you know, this is the place where beginner questions are welcome. You know, there's no such thing as silly questions. There's no such thing as dumb questions. No question has ever been asked before. You'll never hear, well, we answered that already. You know, a proper response is not read the freaking manual. You know, that's not something we're gonna say here either. Now I can pull up the freaking manual. I've got it right here. We could pull it up and look at it and go through the POTA rules, and maybe we'll do that some tonight. But you know, we'll do that together. It's not just a cold response, you know, send you off to go do your own homework. You know, we're here to help you out. Be welcoming to people that are new in POTA, probably fairly new in ham radio as well. Certainly new in HF. Who we got here? I got my man Paul, Southern Ham, is in the chat. And Frank, there's two good friends of the Travelin Ham here in the chat tonight. How are you guys doing tonight? Yes, Frank, we are supposed to read the freaking manual. It doesn't mean we do, but we are supposed to read the freaking manual. That's right. Hillbilly on, I think that's supposed to be HRC, Ham Radio Clubhouse. Hillbilly's on Ham Radio Clubhouse. Okay, well, that's good. We'll have to go see Dave. They might be talking about, I know the More Expo is coming up this week, and he's right there in Springfield, Missouri. So I wonder if they'll be talking about that some. But Dave's one of the great characters. A lot of great characters in HamTube here, and Dave's one of them. So if he's on there, definitely check that out. Hillbilly Amateur Radio Club. Oh, okay. So that's not Hillbilly Ham then. Okay. Or is it the same guy? Hillbilly Amateur Radio Club. Well, let's Google that. Hillbilly Hams. They're from Murphy, North Carolina. Okay, so not associated with Dave. Everything I say by Dave stands, but that is not who we're talking about being on tonight. Hillbilly Hams. They're out of North Carolina. Okay, very good. Dave is still awesome. That's right. Won't take back any nice things we said about Dave. Hey, let's go into Open Ham Clock and look at the conditions we got going tonight. Ham radio conditions look like they should be fairly decent. My antenna and radio here seem to disagree, but we got pretty low solar winds. I think here a couple weeks ago that was up in the 700s. Now we're down to 357 in the green there. Conditions are very quiet. SFI is 101 and a K of 0.33. So very low noise. You can see our X flux down here is well below the C range, so the sun's not making too much noise today. It seems like everything should be working pretty good. I can't hear squat. Paul, I tried to listen to you today, and the best I could do, I could just make out enough of your voice that I could tell it was you, but I could not make out what you were saying, and that was for very, very brief moments, and that's what I've got going on here right now. So, you know, I just got the ATOS up, and it just, you know, it seemed like that first weekend was when we had the state QSO parties down south. I think it was Louisiana and Mississippi maybe that were on the same day, and I feel like I did pretty good on those. But after that, it just went to trash, and it seems like most of the eastern half of the country is in my skip zone, and I'm just not hearing much. I'm still in home base. I'm going to be here for a while, so we're in the Wichita, Kansas area. We'll probably be here till August. At least we'll be based out of here. We still got trips to Ohio and Colorado, some short trips, but we'll be based right here until we start heading down to Huntsville, Alabama in August. So we'll be home for a little bit and doing some having some radio adventures out here. So that's the space weather conditions. You can tell we got some serious weather conditions in places too. Up in the Great Lakes, you got to keep your eye on the weather up there. Got a little bit south of me here, down in the Red River area, between Oklahoma and Texas. So there's some storms out and about today. As you can see on the Open Ham Clock map, I'm loving this app so far. I don't know. I mean, I was coveting that. What's the one you got to pay so much for? I can't even remember the name of it now. The ham clock, that's hundreds of dollars, and you get the little computer. Comes the little Raspberry Pi. See, I can't even think of it now. That's how far it is out of my mind. You know, from coveting to I can't even think of the name, because this open ham clock has been pretty cool, and pretty much does everything I want it to do. Geochron! There you go. Thanks, Frank. Geochron. I mean, This isn't 4K sexy like as much as Geocron is, but I have been enjoying this quite a bit. Quite a bit. Hey, we got Eric in here. Just remember, it's not trash can't, it's trash can. Interesting. Okay. Is that in reference to the conditions? Welcome to the live stream, Eric. Glad you're here. And yeah, Frank's with me. Says open ham clock is better. How's my audio tonight, guys? Let's do the audio check. I've really bummed this up here the last couple live streams I've done. I think I know I don't have any huge sounds going to the radio right now from the computer. That was the first mistake I made. And then last week got a real bad echo, but I think I've got that figured out because I've got this sound off, and that puts in an echo right there, and then that turns it off. So I'm learning all this. We hear the fan, but you're yeah, unfortunately I can't do anything about that. It is you can see right up here, it is 85 degrees outside the 8-ton Radio Go box, and it's not even sunny. The air is just that warm and thick and wet. It's definitely an air conditioner day. We're mooch docking in the driveway, and we can run our AC, which I can touch right there. I can touch the AC, so we are close, and it is loud. I hope that's not too distracting. I'll have to I'll have to watch my stream over again and see how bad that is. But I got this mic nice and close, you see right there. So hopefully I can minimize that sound. But yeah, we definitely got to have the AC on today. And the wind's been blowing 25 miles an hour for 3 weeks out here. For Pete's sake, I know it's Kansas. I know it's spring. But man, it has just been absolutely relentless. 15 to 25 miles an hour, gusts of 40 every single day for 3 weeks, with one exception, and that was Easter Sunday. We got a break on Easter Sunday. That tells you who's in charge right there. But all the ladies got a break to wear their nice dresses on Easter Sunday. Other than that, it's just things are going sideways for 3 solid weeks. Anywho, this is the friendly POTA Elmer live stream. Maybe going to be renamed the, what did I say? The POTA Elmer Hour. I like that. I kind of like that. If anybody out there has any POTA questions, signify them somehow. I don't care. If you put question in all caps in the chat and follow it up with your question. I think Jimmy had a question last week. He just led with 3 capital Qs. That works. Maybe you could even put in a Morse code Q in front of it. I don't know. Be creative. But if you got any questions you want to drop in there, we can answer any basic questions you want. If you're just getting into POTA, even some of us guys that have been around for a while, if you're trying something new, which a lot of us are in ham radio, it's an experimenter's hobby. You know, we become beginners ourselves at that point. So nothing wrong with beginner questions, and we can research parks. We researched twofer for Jimmy last week. That went pretty well. He had a couple state parks that came and butted right up against each other, and he was interested to know if maybe there was some overlap. I think he knew the answer to the question, but he was humoring us to give us something to research and talk about here. But we did find there was a twofer, not in that overlap, but there was a National Historic Trail going through one of the parks. So we did find him a twofer that way that he was not aware of, because the dot was all the way over in Paul's neck of the woods in Louisiana, and you know Jimmy's he's over in the Austin, Texas area. All right, Eric's jumping right in there. N1JUR, when are you coming back to the right side of the country? Soon, actually. Later this year. So we're here in Kansas. We're going to be here till August, until we'll start. You know, we'll take 2 or 3 weeks to slowly make our way over to Huntsville for the Huntsville Ham Fest. After that, we're going to be visiting friends and family in the West Virginia and Virginia area and staying there a little while. I think we're going to try to winter down in Florida. One thing we have not done yet is we've not wintered in the panhandle of Florida. And that's a little bit of a nut for us to crack money-wise, because it's pretty expensive to stay down there. And, you know, the reason we get to do this is we live pretty simple. We've always lived a really simple lifestyle. We've tried to never have the nicest, newest stuff. We've never had the biggest, nicest house, you know, but we've stayed relatively debt-free or debt-free and, you know, have a lot of freedom in our lives. We're not independently wealthy. I'm not retired. You know, we don't get to do what we do because, you know, we're financially lucky somehow. We just led simple lives so we can do what we want and live how we want. And, you know, we just took our lives on the road. And that has meant a lot of cheap, free camping. You know, and out west, that's pretty easy. Out east, it gets a little more complicated. And in Florida, it gets downright challenging. So we've got some things to figure out there. But I think that's where we're going to end up spending this coming winter. And then it might be the following year. We might try getting up into New England again. We haven't. Gosh, there's so many things to happen between now and then. You know, we look that far in advance. We'll just keep some options open. We could go up to Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine again. We really enjoyed it up there. I want to go up there and get my kilo in Acadia, and you know, we also need to get up into the Wisconsin, Minnesota, Upper Peninsula area. So we might do something like that. We'll just have to see. Catching up with the chat here. West equals right. I just read that as it's the right side of the map. As I look at the map, it's on the right side. That's how I read it. But I'm not very smart either. So there we go. One question down. Appreciate it, Eric. I catch your live stream quite a few times. But, you know, I'm not a morning person. And, boy, Friday mornings are tough for me to get on live. I'll do it. I'll do it one of these times. So I'll watch you and Shannon do your live stream live. But now that I'm a little farther east, that's gotten a lot easier. I think it was, you know, when I'm out west, it's on at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and that just ain't happening. I'm still comatose at that time. Alrighty then. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about Alaska. I've been seeing Alaska. Here's a POTA tip for you guys. I've seen posts on Facebook here the last couple weeks that the Alaska guys are out activating. I've seen Michael AL7 Casey has been out activating again, and Jeremy KL7 EC has been out activating again. Now is your time to get Alaska, because we're in that shoulder season where it's reasonable for them to go out. It's not horrible winter weather. And the thing that happens in the summertime is their propagation goes into the toilet. So, you know, it's easier for them to get out in the summertime, but band conditions are not good. And I think it's fairly common that they go out and they can't make a single contact other than maybe a few FT8. So Alaska's tough to get in the summertime. If you want to get Alaska, do it now. Put Alaska parks in your ham alert. You can specify Alaska parks to trigger an alert, and you can get it that way. But now's your time. Keep an eye out for those guys, or maybe you can enter a few of their call signs. I would do the Alaska trick just to be sure that you're getting all the notifications that you possibly can. But now is the time. When it gets to June, July, and August, it's gonna be a lot harder. Podcast, yeah, I'll have to keep that podcast option in mind also. I'm not traveling too much here soon, so not too much need for a podcast at this point. So I'll catch you on YouTube. That's how I'll fall asleep at night sometimes. Yeah, Frank, Mike did give me a bunch of times as I was working up and down the coast as well. I think he's got a directional and some power that he can run. And yeah, I heard his voice quite often activating in California, Oregon, and Washington. Unfortunately, he can't take that station out into the field, so that you know, being able to hunt an Alaska park, that setup can't help you too much. So the thing I wanted to do today, while we wait for more questions, again, if anybody has come in since I started, we're taking any POTA questions, any beginner questions. No question is too basic. No question has ever been asked before, and we will not say read the freaking manual. Anyone want to post any questions, do so. Otherwise, we'll turn the radio on here and we'll see what we can hear, which hasn't been much lately. So, but the thing I wanted to look at first was this little vocap tool here. And I've got my grid programmed up here. I'm in Echo Mike 17 Echo Oscar, and I'm going to do a reliability map here to show you kind of what conditions I'm having to deal with here. I like using SSB 100 watts as kind of a standard setting. You know, I do all kinds of modes, but I like just keeping that the same so I can compare results from day to day. Antennas, let's just go ahead and set all antennas to quarter wave with ground plane. And what band shall we look at first? Let's look at what's happening on the big 20 meters right now, because I think almost everyone activating right now is on 20 meters. There's a few 40. One guy doing CW on 17 meters. And I got a guy in Alabama on 15. He's probably easily in my skip zone. Hey Andy, welcome to the chat, brother. Good to see you. But let's see what we got going on 20 meters. So I'm going to go up here to coverage maps and reliability map. Great tool, vocap, if you have not used it yet. If you're planning a trip anywhere this summer and you're planning on running some radio, I would check this tool out and look up where you're going, and you can right here, you can put the date of your visit and look at what your propagation reliability map is going to be for a particular time on a particular band, and you might be surprised, particularly if it's summer, particularly if you're going somewhere in the northern latitudes. So I would really check this out. You can see what I got going on 20 meters right now. It's basically we're looking at a one-hop affair for the most part, and gosh, I'm missing quite a bit east of the Mississippi River. Looks like it maybe picks up around, I want to say, Indiana, half of Kentucky and Tennessee. So, my skip zone is cutting off some folks, and I can tell you where it's orange up and down that part of the eastern coast there. I am not hearing much of that. I am not hearing much out west either. So I don't know if that's local conditions here. I don't know if it's my antenna set up here. I have not had too much luck, and I'm not used to having to use my filters on the good old 891 here, but working here out of the RV, I absolutely have been working those filters out. Normally in a park, and I don't have to turn too many filters on, but that's what I'm looking at on 20 meters right now. And even if there were people on higher bands, let's see what we got here. If we move it to 15, everything else the same. I'll go ahead and download that just so we can embiggen here. So you look at 15, I'm skipping over most of the entire country today. So this is the kind of stuff that goes through my mind when I watch a YouTube video and I hear people say, use 15 meters, use 10 meters, use all the bands, because I'm usually somewhere, it seems, where, a number of the bands look like this. And, I'm not going to make any U.S. contacts there. I can get down to Mexico, I can get down south and maybe get some DX, but I'm generally trying to activate a park and trying to get somewhere that's dense in POTA hunters, and that means the eastern third of the country, and along the west coast. And I'm not getting a lot of that here. But with all that said, you never know unless you try. So we'll turn it on and see what we can hear. See what we can hear. Hear what we can hear. Focus. There we go. Oh, come on. Not great. We'll roll with it. Not hearing a whole lot. I think I can take these off and I can hear the radio better. Yeah, we're good there. Good there. So let's go. A lot louder at the high end, isn't it? Take them off fast. My hand is what's messing with that focus. Come on now. There you go. Yeah, autofocus being a little bit of a pill. So let's see, I got someone in Virginia on the James River, 14307. That might be the first one I can actually hear. Yeah, it is being cranky, that focus. My space here isn't too large, so everything's pretty close together. I think that's jacking with the focus quite a bit. Hello. Well, it's perfectly focused. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I think you all been drinking. Perfectly focused. It's all you. Yes, Paul, I will be at Hamvention. I'll be at Hamvention and Huntsville Hamfest as well. At least that's the plan. I do have a place reserved to stay. I'm going to get a rental car and drive there. How's my radio audio, guys? Is that too loud? I am not hearing the activator on 14307. However, what does say it was 11 minutes ago. Come on, iPhone. Try backing it off a little bit. Oh, weird! You got my ghost face in there too. That's a little creepy. All right, I think that's working better though. What else we got here? 307. That guy in Inyo National Forest. That's, I don't know, it could be a possibility. Or they're just east of Frank. I like to tune nice and slow between spots. No need to skip over anybody. Anybody's out there not able to spot. Does that mean you're going to Hamvention, Paul? I assume so if you're asking. I know you're going to Alabama. I've heard that. I think you said you're going to Hamvention as well. It'll be fun meeting a lot of people. That'll be my first real ham radio convention. First big one. Looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna... Oh, what happened? Got my camera turned off. Interesting. All right, let's turn the radio down here for a minute. Webcam settings. Interesting, the thing just totally shut down. That's new. Okay, let's try. Let's try moving it to the integrated camera. So that's operating on my laptop now, which is closed. There we go. All right, see, I'm still here. Totally screwed with my format. That's all right. That's all right. I'll go back and change it to proper webcam again. Hey, I think that did it. Look at that. Look at that. Now I've kind of messed with it all. Hey, Chris. Welcome. Glad you're here. Anybody else that's come in here lately? We're going to hunt around here a little bit, but we're... Any POTA questions you might have, whether it's a simple beginner question or something more complex that you've encountered, you need help researching a park or a twofer or a threefer or something like that, plop it in the chat. Preface it with big, huge question marks or all question in all caps, something like that. Bunch of Q's in a row, and we can get it answered. We researched the park for Jimmy, PRK Radio, last week, and that was pretty fun. I would not mind doing that again. Still not hearing anything out of Inyo National Forest. Man, it's just been brutal lately. We are changing position tonight. I'm excited just to hear a signal here. We're changing locations tonight once this stream is over, and I'm going from family's driveway to a state park. So that's good for a number of reasons, but one will be I can put up a nice antenna and maybe get a little A/B comparison going on with the ATOS.
Kilo Juliet 5, Mike Delta Tango.
And we got a DX station here. But yeah, we'll play around on the radio and hang out here unless we can get some questions in. We'll go till 23:10, leading up to Jeff's video. You can see right down there in the corner. Andy's hoping to make it to Ohio. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Kilo Juliet 5, Mike Delta Tango.
All right, we'll slide on down here and see if there's anything else here. Joshua Tree on 261. Can you guys hear the radio? What is the best tool to identify Xfers, twofers, threefers, and the like? The best tool. How to answer that one? It's a great question. And my answer to that, or really any park research question, is going to be the authoritative source, depending on which park you're at. So if we're looking at any park here, let's go with we'll go with my home park, Cheney Lake State Park. All right, we've got POTA's pretty good about giving the authoritative source here. Doesn't always lead to a great map. I'm always looking for a map from an authoritative source. And, you know, something like this, perhaps. I'd like something with a little more detail. I actually went round and round with this a week or two ago, trying to find out exactly where the state park boundaries are. And they're really pretty limited around the lake itself. So if you look at the lake here in general, it's just a little area. Well, it's a little bigger than that, but it's just along the coast here, and just this little piece here. That's really all there is to the state park. But I'm going to get that information from the source, and I'm going to check, you know, if there is another park from another I want to say entity from some other state or federal department that overlaps. I'm going to check both of those maps. I'm going to look closely at the boundaries. I'm going to find landmarks within curves of roads, or any way I can to sort of get those two maps to reference each other and see if the areas that are shown within the boundary, maybe they're shaded, do they overlap in any way? And that's how I'm going to find an X for a 2 for 3 for what have you. Now this POTA map source is pretty good. This one is pretty good at finding overlap. So here you can see, you know, the state park, what we're talking about here, but it's not complete. You know, there's another park up here that doesn't have that doesn't have a shape. Now it does show in the base, Cheney Wildlife Area. You know, this boundary does show on this map, but again, this is not an authoritative source. So I am just using this to get me close, to get me started. And in this case, you know, it's telling me that there's no X-fur, there's no 2-fur or 3-fur possibility here. There's no trails going through or anything like that. Now, what we looked at last week down in Austin, let's see. I gotta load Texas parks here now, so let's do that. Okay, Austin's up here. So we looked at these two state parks, Texas state parks here, and you can see they butt right up to each other. And POTAmap.us is the site that I'm using here. It shows how they butt up real nice, but they don't overlap. However, this site is real good at showing National Historic Trails, and that's what we found here. Is that there's a national historic trail system going through here, and you can see it's got a lot of tributaries to it. It's not just one trail. And I struggled with the name of this last time. Let's try it again just for fun. El Camino Real de los Tejas. Not bad. National Historic Trail. So this is going to get me close, but I'm still going to look at, let's see, I've got a tab here for the National Park System. That shows trails. Where is that at? I'm still going to go to the source here. National Park Service Trails Map. You know, I'm still going to find something authoritative here, and you can see in this picture it does show. I can't zoom in on it here. Can I? I don't think I can. But it does show that trail system here. So I'll try to download something like this to where I can zoom in real tight and make sure that trail alignment, you know, through those parks in the Austin area agrees with what I saw on POTAmap. You know, I'll start with this, but this is just, it's just that. It's a place for me to start. It gets me the idea. Yeah, these two probably aren't overlapping, but this trail looks like it certainly is. And from there, now I'm going to use a map, maybe a trail map for, what was the name of this park again? I think that's called Bastrop State Park. And find some trail system in here that might, I think there was one. Yeah, it shows a path that goes right along the edge of the park here. So if you could be on that path and find some place to set up within 100 feet of that trail alignment, that's how you find your 2-fers or 3-fers. So in this case, you know, it always depends. It's always that answer, it depends. In this case, I'm going to a state park map, a Texas state park map for Bastrop State Park in this case, and I'm going to find where it's going to, you know, I'm going to find trails that overlap this. And then I may have to go scout out the site and see which one makes sense, you know, where there might be some little clearing or some area where I can set up. You know, does it seem like there's an area off the trail here where when I say the trail, I mean the path that I'm taking within the park where I'm trying to intersect the National Historic Trail. Does this trail have some kind of space where I can get off the trail and set up and not damage anything? You know, or is it just solid shrubbery in this area? You know, if I pulled up Google Maps here, I don't remember what the vegetation looked like in that area. I think we're right over here. Yeah, so what's this vegetation like here? It looks like grassland, you know, so that can be good and it can be not so good. But, you know, is there some place in here? This looks like a pretty informal trail right in here. I bet we could walk along here and find our place and set up wherever we want. But that's that's how I'm gonna approach that, Paul. I'm gonna use a stake map, and then I might mix in some other sources like Google Maps here and the satellite imagery to find a potential spot to set up my station and be along that alignment. Of course, we don't have the alignment in here, so we kind of have to see. You know, this trail is 2/3 or 3/4 of the way from the highway to whatever little road this is to that campground. Can we see that? I think that's this right here. So our trail alignment, we can assume, is kind of right in here. You know, so maybe there's some place in here where we can set up and run radio. That's how I'm going to approach it. It's just, you never know what it's going to look like until you actually get there and see what's on the ground. Better maps, that'd be nice. I mean, you know, the POTA map does have, you know, it's a little bit to be desired there, but, you know, honestly, even if they had a really great map, I mean, if it was as good as this, we'd say this is a pretty good map system with POTAmaps.us. I'm still not going to use this as my source, my final source, unless I can find nothing else. I'm going to go to some authoritative source to find that information. But even if POTA's was this good, you know, I'm still not relying upon that. And the thing to understand, you know, if you're new, the thing to understand is the limitations of this POTA map. Like those parks that we were looking at down here by Austin, you know, there's a trail, National Historic Trail, going right through here. But the dot, you know, if all you look at is the little yellow dots on the POTA map, it's way over here somewhere in Louisiana. I forget. It's by I thought it was Nacogdoches. Is it Natchitoches? One of these over here, one of these towns in Louisiana is where the trail is. I think it was Nacogdoches. I don't recall where that's at exactly. But, you know, that pin is way over here, and our park was way over here. So there you go. You know, there are some limitations there. You know, you just got to understand them moving forward. And it would be nice, I guess, to have some polygons like we have here to help us out, and the trails going through there as well. The trail starts in Natchitoches. Natchitoches. Yeah, so I think that's the dot right there. So how close is that? You know, that's not really going to help you out. Is it this one right here? There's two of them here, right close together. Yeah, there we go. El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail. There's your dot. There's your pin. You know, but it's nowhere close. And then, you know, if you're looking at the Appalachian Trail, it's over here in Georgia somewhere is where the trail starts. I'm not even going to try to find it. Yeah, but it's way down here in Georgia somewhere, and that trail goes all the way up into Maine. You know, so that's where being able to see that trail on POTA.us is really pretty handy, although it's only showing the one based in Texas. So to see that, I would load the Parks for Maine, and then it should show me that whole trail, shouldn't it? Yeah, there, it popped it in. Yeah, so there's your dot. So if you're in Maine and you're activating this trail, your dot's way down here, you know, just north of Atlanta, Georgia. I've heard that POTA is working on a new site, so that'll be exciting to see if they can pull that out. They got me a little bit on there for the slightest moment on their April Fool's Day joke until they started getting into specifics. Then I'm like, no way. But I was hoping they were saying their new site was coming out, but apparently they're working on something. I'm excited to see what it is. All right, and again, guys, we are leading up to Taco Tuesday, the Tuesday evening premieres. We got Jeff, K3JRZ, starting at 10 minutes after the hour, here in 20 minutes at 23:10. He's got a POTA video coming up, some more POTA content after this. And then Life at Terminal Velocity is a video. They're doing an 11. He's doing, Carlos is doing an 11 Park Rove. That'll be fun to see. Gray Man's got an IT video of some kind, something about security that I'm not smart enough to comment on, so I won't. And that's all going up to Ham Radio Clubhouse. So we're going to cut this off, probably 5 or 6 minutes after the hour, and give everybody time to head over there to start with all those premieres. Can I hear anybody? Can I hear anybody? Let's see, we're going down. Nakatush. Nakatush. That's how they say that? I like it. Or Nassatush. I think it's a POTA anyway. Josh with trees at 261. That's stale though. He's 30 minutes old now. Probably done. And my signal on 260 is probably DX.
My pleasure. Got your log into yours and anybody else yours? Okay, KB7, FGN, good copy on you. Paul, how are you? Well, remember about 3 years ago, you got really mad at me and said you wouldn't talk to me again, over? No, I don't think so either. No, I've just been busy. Just projects here and projects there, over.
Well, I'd be interested to know where I'm hearing this clear. There's probably somebody's running some power.
Well, okay. Well, I'm glad you spent some time with me on the radio, and I hope you use QRZ because we got to remember we talked, over. You're about a 5-7 coming this way. It's pretty steady, though.
Where is this way? Where you at? Who are you?
Okay, great. Well, the Lupa 10 is doing great for you. I appreciate you coming in. Good to hear you again. And sorry it's been so long. You bet. All right, anybody else? Hold on there just a second. I got to answer a question. I'll hold on a second. All right, anybody else in the band? November 6th, Zulu Tango, Southern Cal.
Southern Cal, coming in good. November 6th, Zulu Tango.
Whiskey 8, was it? Try it again?
Canyon Country, California.
Okay, there's a couple of you. Whiskey, Yankee 7 Kilo.
Have a good night,
Yankee.
Frank.
Hey, Tom,
7-3. Safe voyage. Thanks for hanging out.
Exactly.
Yeah, we got an Elecraft amplifier there. Oh yeah, we got a tower. That's why we're here, and I'm good. Look at that. It's got a tower up on a hill. Beautiful.
You're 10 over. If you're facing the other direction, you're really doing good. The band's changing, I guess.
Nice. Well, that's why we can hear him good. What was it 260? Ooh, I think I heard CQ POTA. 252. I think we got someone that's not spotted here. Alright. Let's fumble through some filters here. I like this 15. These aren't levels, mind you. These are all different algorithms on the 891. And they just number them sequentially. It doesn't have any, it doesn't mean anything. We got amp on, preamp. Yeah, I can't hear anything with it off. Whiskey 5 something Tango. Whiskey 5 Lima Tango? Does that sound familiar? I've been playing lately with this contour filter. This is kind of fun to play with when you can hear somebody. Blanking out part of the pass band there. What am I on? 253. There's a spot there now. Kilo Echo 5, Romeo Lima Papa. I don't think that's who I'm hearing. Man, this has been hard work. That is Kilo Echo 5, Romeo Lima Papa. All right, okay. What was it? Kilo Echo 5? Kilo Echo 5, RLP, Romeo Lima Papa. Would do better without the contour. Maybe I can get a contact this week. Man, that's still really rough. Seems better if I have the contour up at the higher end of the band. You can see it's taking this little notch out right there. Kilo Echo 0 Victor India Mike. Kilo Echo 0 Victor India Mike. Roger, Roger. Kilo Echo 0. Kilo Echo 0. I say again. Kilo Echo 0 Victor India Mike. QSL, thank you. I got you 2x2. 2x2. Kilo Sierra, Kansas. Kilo Sierra. Thank you. 7-3. Sweet. How about that? Man, that was working. I'm pretty happy with that. That makes a successful stream right there. So let's turn all these filters off now. This will be a fun experiment. Turn off contour, digital noise reduction. Sorry about that. Have anything else on? Was that it? That was it. This is how you sounded this morning, Paul. Just now, if I could hear a voice, I could tell it was yours. But you know, that didn't happen without the filters though. So that's kind of fun. I have had fun playing with the filters on the 891. I don't have much experience with that because my nose floor is usually 0, and it's, you know, it's not too high here. Well, it is kind of high right now. I'm kind of out in the country. There's not a whole lot around me. But there we go. We made a contact. I didn't even look to see where that was. 253. He's in Nevada. Wow, okay. 20 meters on Nevada. What did that say on the reliability map now? Let's go back and re-reference that now that we made that contact. Doesn't have states in here, but yeah, Nevada should be right there in the orange. What's that, like 60, 70%? It says over here, orange is 70 to 80%, so. Whew. If I, you know, that signal that I'm hearing right now, that doesn't sound like 70, 80% probability to me. That doesn't sound anywhere close to that, but. All right, let's see if we can get one more. We're going to wrap up here pretty quick. Maybe I can hear one more signal. If there's anybody hanging around there that's got any kind of POTA question they haven't gotten in but would like to, you can send it in right now and we'll have it on queue for next week. You can email me. I'm good on QRZ if you'd like to have it answered that way, or if you would like to have it, you know, again in queue for next week, we can do that. But really want to be here and available for, you know, basic questions, easy questions, beginner questions, experience questions, all that stuff. The stuff that the Facebook guys complain about when they get asked over and over again on the Facebook page. Is that Bill K4NYN? Is Bill Brown is running voice? How about that? How about that? I might have a decent chance of hearing him. 6 minutes ago, could be Staling. Yeah, he's normally a CW op. I don't know that he does that much voice. Yeah, I guess I should have hopped down and done some CW. That's what you should do in poor conditions, right? How can we get POTA hunters to use phonetics? I don't know, Paul. You must be getting a lot of those. Do I get a lot that don't use phonetics? I get one every once in a while that doesn't use any phonetics. I get a lot of alternate phonetics. That doesn't bother me too much. I'll use those on occasion too, but I don't get too many that don't use phonetics. Is that common for you? Every once in a while I'll get one. Like one every 10 activations maybe. And of course I'll always fumble, I'll try to give it back in phonetics and be fumbling all around and get half of it wrong. So hopefully I'm making the point in a polite way. If they say AF3GZ, I'm like, was that Alpha Sierra 3 something? Come again? Then they'll drop it. Then they'll drop it with phonetics maybe that second time. So maybe that's it. Just totally jack it up. Give it back to them without phonetics and totally screw it up. Then you'll get it in phonetics. Maybe that's the trick. Well, I think I'm going to hang it up here. We got 3 minutes, under 3 minutes now till Jeff's video starts. I got a playlist pinned in the chat. There should be a redirect that shows up when this ends as well to take you guys over to that. To take you over to Jeff's video. Tell him I sent you. Those guys are nice to let me hang out here on the frequency before their net. That's basically what we're doing here. I'm holding the frequency for them before their net, so we'll send them over there. Abraham Cal 5 Zebra Utah Cat. I've got a list I'm working on of the worst possible phonetics. Maybe we can throw some ideas in there, but there we go. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for coming and hanging out here with me today for a little over an hour. We're going to send it over to the premieres now. Get the word out any way you can. I'd love for this to be a home for people to come and we can just sit here and answer silly questions for an hour and a half, and talk to a lot of folks that are new in POTA. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I hope that's what that develops into. I know it's going to take a little bit of time to do it, and we're just putting in the time right now. Thank you guys for hanging out. A lot of friends of the channel in there today, and you're appreciated. If you have any questions, you catch this on replay or anything, you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'm good in the Zed. And we're taking off here. I am Mike. This is Kilo Echo Zero Victor India Mike. Maybe going to be the POTA Elmer Hour. We'll see if we rename that. We'll catch you guys later. 7-3.
He was running his rig 20 words per minute with Morse code. I strode up to his station and said, hey man, I got that mode. If you're going to activate Mike, with me you can ride. So I sat at the picnic table and I settled down by his side. He asked if I'd been in a better park to scan across the bands, and I said, listen, I POTA everywhere in this here land. I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. West Coast to the east, man. Sea to shining sea, man. Activations, I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA at Mayo, Arapahoe, Sonora, and Coconino, Yellowstone, Sorrow, Scope, and Coronado, Washita, San Juan, Niagara, Chiricahua, Alma, Mackinac, Kill, Soquat, North Willapa, everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. Craters of the moon, man. Salmon, Brook Lake, Bog, man. Activations, I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA Cheney, Willoughby, Sea Rim, Mesa Verde, Acadia, Lake Scott, Cape Cod, Lower Neches, Cascades, Burlingame, Gateway, Arch, Channel Island, Teton, Zion, Galveston, Padre Island, Camp Creek, Yosemite, Manistee, Ocean Lake, Ross Lake, Hutton Lake, Crater Lake, for Pete's sake. I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. False parting of the ways, man. Pony Express Trail, man. Activations, I've had my share, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA Canyonlands, White Sands, Badlands, Lake Livingston, Cheyenne Roads and Lassen, Rainbow Basin, Tall Grass, Sabine, Pass, Assateague, 11 Mile, Four Corners, Dinosaur, Fort Bowie, Jekyll Isle, Marconi, Pollard, Flat Arches, Queen, Wilhelmina, Lake Mead, Catalina. See what I mean? I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. 40-acre rock, man. Pariah movie set, man. From bottom of canyons I dare, man. I POTA everywhere. I POTA McFadden, Pinnacles, Peterman, Medicine Bow, J.D. Murphy, Butterfield, Picacho, Daniel Boone in Indiana Dunes, Fort Bowie, Blue Ridge, Trap Pond, Camp Creek, Devil's Tower, Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, Olympic, Dixie, Dickwood, Big Thicket, that's the ticket. I POTA everywhere, man. I POTA everywhere, man. Cross the deserts bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travels I've had my share, man.